why. Chronic, left, right, that's how I come. Left, right, ooh yeah, boy.
Rewind selector, bring the bass.
Welcome, why. Chronic, left, right, that's how I come. Left, right, ooh yeah, boy.
Peace to the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddess. She's your hostess with the mostest, burning like toast is Cosmonian. Up in the early munching with this good early munching wake and bake. You dig what I'm talking about? So go ahead, get your chamomile tea. You dig what I'm talking about? Your little coffee. Get your little mud together. You dig what I'm talking about? Break out that Zaza pack. You dig what I'm talking about? It don't even matter if you smoke Reggie. You dig what I'm talking about? You can even call up Reggie. Just tell Reggie to turn this Cosmon Cow TV on, sub, like, share when you come in the door. And you dig what I'm talking about? We gonna get this thing popping off ASAP, you know. Just checking back in from the atmospheric heavens. You dig what I'm talking about? Down from the second resurrection. And just wanted to bring a little more info. You dig what I'm talking about? And this is Jehovah Chronicles number 95. Dang, number 95, creeping on a come up. You dig what I'm talking about? Creeping on a come up. I ain't even monetized my channel yet, nothing. You dig what I'm talking about? We're gonna have to get into that. I'm gonna call my bro, see how that works out and what's going on and all that. I don't even know if I want to do it. Because then people will try to say, oh, you doing this for the money and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? But with that being said, this is the Jehovah Chronicles number 95, Nicean Council and the creation of God in the flesh, aka and Ayisu, aka Yeshua, aka Jeebus. This is the creation of Jeebus. You got to remember, there was times in the religious doctrine where there were no sons of the Most High God. There was nobody on side of them. And yet in John 1:1, they tell you that, you know, this son, right, not only was there when the creator says there was nobody on, or God says there was nobody on side of him. You dig what I'm talking about? That there are no saviors other than him. You know what I mean? That they say in John 1:1 that what they call the word, and that word is actually logos, right? And which means the sign of creation. Right? So this is why they mix this up as a man. You know what I mean? But where does that ideology that this God could even be a man come from? You know what I mean? Those ideas in whole 100% only come from pagan religions. So with no further ado, let's get into the Jehovah Chronicles, man. Wait. Shout out to the Creator Gang. You dig what I'm talking about? Let's see who we got up in here. Snoopy Eats. What up, cuz? That's what's up. What up, though? Snoopy Eats up in this thing, man. Shout out to the homie. You dig what I'm talking about? Nazarene, the scene fight that's in the house. Gang. Yahweh. in the house, gang, gang. Sister Ray, Elizabeth Weaver in the house, gang, gang. My sister Shonda, gang, gang. Man, listen, I've been supposed to get Shonda on the show so long. Her and Joe, you know what I mean? But, you know, with Joe health, and you did what I'm talking about, the demands we may be trying to put on this man, you dig what I'm talking about, unless he ready to do it and get it done, you know what I mean? I am not going to press that issue, you know what I mean? But boy, hey, listen, when y'all hear this sister, when first of all, when y'all hear Joe's story, let alone her story, this her hood, when you hear her story, it's going to be amazing. But when you hear Joe's story, this is why I want to document it. And even if for nothing else, just to put it in the Faithist files, so the Faithists can just see this. You dig what I'm talking about, man? Look, they got some miraculous stuff going on down there in Texas right now. It's been going on for a minute. Nazarene, the scene Faithists in the house. My baby BC up in the house. You dig what I'm talking about? My big Ema better than your Ema. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to Mahalia. That's my Ema. She better than your Ema. Gang, gang. Shout out to my Cali Connect. Dreadful. The dreadful one. Young Cosmonian, huh? Shout out to that brother there. You dig what I'm talking about? On the lookout in the house. You dig what I'm talking about? That's right. Inspire hope to change lives. Shout out to you. YouTube is a job as well, cuz them fools sad with you. Okay, you right. So I should go ahead and do that. You right. You right. You did what I'm talking about. If anybody gonna benefit from the culture, it should be the good people, right? Everybody else do, right? Don't nobody even try to you know, help the people. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to you, my nigga Young Snoopy H. You dig what I'm talking about? He say Exodus 4:22. Selah Shalom in the house. Elijah 7 in the house. You dig what I'm talking about? Cosmo and her Hassan Campbell went looking for the shooter and caught a hot one. Hey man, listen, man. Crazy part, right? I seen the video yesterday. Crazy, right? The boy Hassan Campbell was going nuts. Dude, it's 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. You in the middle of Brooklyn screaming at the top of your fucking lungs. Yo, SMD, suck my boo. Yo, I'll kill you, stab you up and push you and your mama down the stairs. And you dig what I'm talking about? Boy, this nigga was bugging. You dig what I'm talking about? So it didn't surprise me. You dig what I'm talking about? That, you know, somebody bought that wolf ticket. My thing is this. You dig what I'm talking about? I hope the brother get better. You know what I mean? And I hope this is a lesson learned. My whole thing is this with Hassan Campbell, and this the only thing that I'm even gonna speak on this bullshit. You dig what I'm talking about? This is the only time I'm gonna even speak on this bullshit because I know it's bullshit. And I ain't even trying to feed into it, right? Give you no clout, no nothing off this shit. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm not even gonna tell y'all to view this shit, nothing. My thing is this. You got all this gangsta ass energy for a bunch of people you don't know who ain't never did nothing to you. But the nigga who was playing in your booty, you dig what I'm talking about? Supposedly raping you, yet you kept going back. But took your manhood, you know, did all the terrible things that you having mental issues about that still got you stuck in your second childhood about you ain't gave none of that energy to that nigga that actually did the shit to you. Not only you ain't punched the nigga, you ain't stabbed him, you ain't shoot at him, you ain't shoot him. Right? I found out yesterday that there was another boy, right, who woke up and said that Bambata was giving him fellatio. He woke up to it, right? That boy instantly, right then, right that second, went into the kitchen, went and got a butcher knife, and came back and damn near gutted Bambata like a fish. Right? Right then, right there. He got down, he got mad, and got down right where he was mad at. This decades later, you ain't filed a charge, you ain't threw a punch. But you got all this extra gangster energy for niggas who ain't did shit to you. And then the worst part about it is the nigga that actually stabbed Bambata, put him in the hospital. The nigga damn near died. Y'all got to check up on this. Hassan said, instead of going to put the work in on Bambata and finishing the job, because he raped you like he was doing a little boy, right? You said you was going to kill the little boy for stabbing Bambata. I thought that was odd. As I like my splipper team. You dig what I'm talking about? I'm not buying all that gangster energy, bro. I'm not buying it. You dig what I'm talking about? Either one or two things. You cowardly or you was with it the whole goddamn time. I want to show y'all something real quick. See if I can get down to this. Show this video. Fair use, fair use, fair use. This is teaching all rights reserved, and I am using this as teaching information.
Creed is an example of what happens when unbelievers, like pagan philosophers and especially politicians, like Roman emperors, get mixed up in religion. First comes confusion, since the creed itself is replete with ambiguous and contradictory language. For example, the creed violates the later Trinitarian formula of three distinct hypostases in one ousia, or three persons in one being or substance. According to the noted church historian Richard Hansen, for at least the first half of the period between 318 to 381 AD, and in some cases considerably later, ousia and hypostasis are used as virtual synonyms. As a result, the Creed condemned anyone who said the Son of God is of a different hypostasis or ousia from the Father. Yet today, Trinitarians would charge you with blasphemy.
Hit me with a one in the chat. Let me know y'all can hear that, y'all.
Dr. Hansen added
That's right.
that not many who have written upon the subject of the Creed have observed the serious difficulty presented by it. And in fact, there were present at the council people such as Marcellus of Ancyra, who were quite ready to maintain that there's only one hypostasis in the Godhead, and who were later to be deposed for heresy because they believed this. So, however Trinitarians today try to spin it, the creed produced by the council was a mine of potential confusion and consequently most unlikely to be a means of ending the Arian controversy. Yet this confusion was not unique to those at Nicaea in 325 AD. Hundreds of years earlier, Tertullian wrote, "There was a time when there was no sun." The historian J.D. Kelly found that Tertullian followed the apologists in dating the beginning of the sun to the Genesis creation, because prior to that moment, God could not strictly be said to have had a son. A few years later, Origen described the Son both as having come into existence and as a creature at a period when nobody distinguished having come into existence from begotten. Yet Origen is known as the father of the so-called eternal generation of the Son. Secondly, many Christians think that the Trinity issue was completely resolved in 325 AD at Nicaea. This is far from the truth, as the American church historian Yaroslav Pelikan explains. During those first 3.5 centuries, the church was gradually drawing out the fuller implications of the creed. That process was by no means unilinear, but involved continual struggles to find the best words for speaking what was ultimately ineffable when articulating the faith.
The dope part is Owaspy mentions this too, that it was not just an instant melding of the minds. Everybody agreed. No, they balloted, and this took years, right? And this is just the very first ecumenical council, the Nicean Council, right? This is the very first one up under Constantine. Let's get back to it.
Of the church. The outcome of those struggles over language was highly complicated and often almost counterintuitive. Thirdly, a strong argument can be made for the fact that the creed is in reality a Platonic creed. Church is
from the Platonists and from Plato. You dig what I'm talking about? Now we seen where people like Philo, back to Socrates, back to Plato, who go all the way back to Heraclides. You dig what I'm talking about? Circa 600, late 500s BC. Very first person to ever even mention the logos or any Trinitarian doctrine at all, right? So we see that from its pagan roots, right? In the Greek with Heraclides, we get the whole idea of a logos or Trinity doctrine or a man, a spirit, and God all being the same thing.
Historians, like Dr. Hansen and others, have noted how words like hypostasis and ousia were borrowed key terms from Platonism. Philo, the influential pagan figure of Christianity, himself described the three angelic visitors to Abraham of Genesis 18 not as three persons but as one, and calls them God from God, light of light. William Inga, the famous professor of divinity, admitted that Platonism is part of the vital structure of Christian theology. Dr. Inga added that if Christians read Plotinus, who worked to reconcile Platonism with Scripture, they would understand better the real continuity between the old culture and the new religion, and they might realize the utter impossibility of excising Platonism from Christianity without tearing Christianity to pieces. Therefore, early Christianity, from its very beginning, was formed by a confluence of Jewish and Hellenic religious ideas. Thus, another noted church historian, Will Durant, was right to say that Christianity did not destroy paganism, it adopted paganism. The Greek language, having reigned for centuries over philosophy, became the vehicle of Christian of Jewish and Hellenic religious ideas.
Did y'all
Thus,
hear that?
another noted church historian,
look.
Will Durant, was right to say that Christianity did not destroy paganism, it adopted paganism.
Bag drop. Christianity did not destroy paganism. It adopted it. It reworked it. He remixed it. Christianity remixed the paganism and gave it to you as Christianity. Look, this is not what Cosmon's saying. These is the greatest theologian minds to ever even look in this Bible. All these boys is PhDs. Every one of them masters. Huh? This is not what Cosmon's saying. What did this man just say? What did this man just say? Hold on. Take a look at this, y'all.
Christianity did not destroy paganism. It adopted paganism. The Greek language, having reigned for centuries over philosophy, became the vehicle of Christian literature and ritual. Other pagan syncretist results from Egypt came the ideas of a divine trinity and the mystic theosophy that made Neoplatonism and Gnosticism and obscured the Christian creed. Christianity was the last great creation of the ancient pagan world. The fact is that the so-called Church Fathers' conception of the Trinity was a combination of Jewish monotheism and pagan polytheism, except that to them this combination was a good combination. This, according to Dr. Harry Wolfson, a history and philosopher professor at Harvard University in the 1950s. In fact, for the Church Fathers, this was an ideal combination of what is best in Jewish monotheism and of what is best in pagan polytheism. And consequently, these so-called Church Fathers gloried in it and pointed to it as evidence of their belief.
Now, what they just did is told on somebody. So here we see that there was a combining of pagan polytheism and Jewish monotheism, right? So during the 1st century CE, to be able to even write at that time, you had to be abreast of Greek, right? And Roman Latin, right? In that writing. So you would have to be able to speak Roman Greek and also understand and speak the Jewish Judean tongue, right? That, and we know so that means them people would have had to been Jewish people who spoke Roman or Roman people who spoke Jewish. Now, the only people who fit in the timeline of the so-called Jeebus in 1st century doctrine, because there is nobody else with any other doctrine, nobody other than Josephus, right? And Rabbi Yohanan, who both go on to tell you Titus is the Messiah, and hence the Son of God. So that means Vespasian is God. The whole Fisher of Men story, Titus did it. Those smashing of the Galatian cities of Galilee outside of the Jewish stronghold, Jesus supposedly did. Titus did it. The rending of the stones on top of Jesus talked about. Titus did it. Remember, y'all, they backdating a story, right? They're using this pagan polytheism that's already being used by the Romans. Remember, it had been a long time. It had already been seen that the Roman Caesars were gods, the sons of God, or a total reincarnation of the God in flesh himself from the Mithridaic theological system in Rome that already existed since the time of the Ptolemies. And this is why they tell you that the earliest Christians already praised Serapis. But Serapis was invented or amalgamated. First, the doctrine was put together by Ptolemy Lagai, right? Ptolemy Lagai, but it's not to his son, Ptolemy Philadelphus, that the Septuagint and the idea of a physical man as the representation of God on earth who dies for men's sins is put together. And that idea, right, which morphs into what we understand as Jebus, right, was produced by the Romans in Philadelphus, Ptolemy, in the early conquering of Egypt. It's Serapis is Apis and Osiris. This is why they say the earliest Christians were worshipers of Serapis. Now watch it. Let's keep going.
Dr. Wolfson says that we have on this the testimony of one Gregory of Nyssa when he wrote that the truth.
Now remember, they said they mixed Jewish monotheism with pagan practices, right? Remember, it's only one book in the first century. That's it. Ain't nobody else outside of Josephus. Nobody in the world, Craig. So we know who is doing the writing. That's simple. You see what I'm saying, y'all?
Truth passes in the mean between these two conceptions, destroying each heresy and yet accepting what is useful to it from each. The Jewish dogma is destroyed, while the polytheistic error of the Greek school is made to vanish by the unity of the nature, abrogating this imagination of plurality. And John of Damascus, the last of the church fathers, wrote that on the one hand, of the Jewish idea we have the unity of God's nature, and on the other, of the Greek, we have the distinction of hypostases. Lastly, the Nicene Creed paved the bloody road that led to state-sponsored, anti-Semitic, quote-unquote Christian laws, such as the Theodosian Code and the later Code of Justinian, which eventually banned the Creed of Jesus himself, the Shema of Mark 12, verse 29. The noted American rabbi and Jewish historian Abraham Milgram wrote that the Jews' vociferous recitation of the Shema at each morning and evening service was, the church felt, a deliberate challenge to the Christian dogma of the Trinity. The Emperor Justinian thus struck at the heart of Jewish worship, and the Jews were only allowed to recite religious poems devoted to the praise of God, such as the Kedusha. The latter was condoned because Christians saw in the threefold sanctification of God, holy, 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 is the Lord of hosts, a hint of the Trinity. The Cambridge History of Judaism adds that during the Byzantine period, guards were sent to the synagogue to prevent recitations that were, quote, thought to impugn, if only implicitly, the Christian notion of the Trinity. This Roman legislation set the stage for the barbaric Catholic inquisitions of later centuries and the genocidal religious wars of the, quote, Christian Crusades.
So mind you, so that alone right there puts this so-called oppression of the Jews, right, who, mind you, right, had already been killed in 73 AD. So who was these so-called Jews? If all the writers and the real dudes was killed with Judas and Eleazar and Malachi and Maccabee and them. If they set Rome on fire and got killed and put to the sword and tarred and feathered and hanged and crucified, right? If all of them died at Megiddo, who is these niggas in the time of Justinian? That's a key, right? Who starts oppressing these quote unquote Christian Jews? Right? It is after the time of Justinian we see a what? A great splitting. Keep that in mind. We're going to keep going forward.
Conflicts have resulted in what some historians estimate to be the death of almost 1 billion people since the birth of Christ.
Look.
According to Eusebius' History of the Church, after the council at Nicaea, Emperor Constantine wrote this to a church at Alexandria. What the 300 bishops have decided is nothing else than the decree of God, for the Holy Spirit present in these men made known the will of God. These words by Emperor...
Now notice, he's saying that the Holy Spirit let these bishops, right, know what is what. We're going to go back and let Constantine tell you himself, Eusebius, tell you himself. Watch this.
Of God. These words by Emperor Constantine ring hollow indeed as we look back.
Hold on, let's go back.
Known the will of God. Spirit present in have decided is nothing else than after the council at Nicaea, Emperor Constantine wrote this to a church at Alexandria. What the 300 bishops have decided is nothing else than the decree of God, for the Holy Spirit present in these men made known the will of God.
Okay, keep that in mind. The Holy Spirit let them know the will of God. Remember that. The Holy Ghost did it. Watch this.
These words by Emperor Constantine ring hollow indeed as we look back to the utter theological confusion and bloody devastation the Nicene Creed has unleashed upon an already evil age.
All right. Let me stop sharing this. I want to share this with y'all. All right. This is the book of the Archibald. Or is this Archibald or is this Esdras? This is Esdras. Yep, Esdras. All right. And this is leading up to the time of Constantine. Remember, we gotta be able to put these things on a historical timeline. We know Constantine doesn't take throne or rulership till after his father's death, 305, 306. Right? So we know, you dig what I'm talking about, prior to that, prior to 306, so 300, 290, 280, all in the end or the time leading up to the time of Constantine, we should see Christian oppression on the planet, or at least in the East, right? Now, see here in the book of Esdras, we find the false god Christ, right? Being told by his warrior general, Gabriel or Jibril, aka Allah, right? Yep, that Allah, right? about the oppression and where it is, who's doing it, and we can see that this is in the eastern lower Mediterranean, Levant, Western European and northern regions, right? Especially you're gonna find from the land of Yoktan. It's gonna be a very odd little tie in there, right? But let's get into now. See, let me set the scene for you, right? It's getting tight, right? These so-called Christian warriors, right, who are under the auspices and praise a God who has taken a title called Christ, right? That God's name, right? The same God that they say that's in Revelations 19:11 that's going to be riding a horse and got a name that don't nobody know. That nigga name is Luamong. Lie and say you've ever heard of that name before. Right? But look, he is giving Luamong, aka the false Christ. This is Jabril telling him a gospel, an evangelion, a war report of what's going on, being that Allah is the warrior general for Christ. Let that sink in a second. Allah, or the Arabs, worked for Christ. Let that sink in. So this is who's actually talking. This is Allah speaking to the false God Christ, aka Luamon. The nigga y'all think about to come back and crack the sky and kill everybody. Right? This is who's actually speaking. Now in Ekla, right? The gods Jupiter and Ira, which means fire. You dig what I'm talking about? Inspired the king Hethus to slaughter 3,700 Christian soldiers. In Utica, the god Jupiter, with 7,000 angels, caused 3,000 of your soldiers to be burnt in a lime kiln. And then, and they were soldiers battling for you. Remember, this is Allah talking to Christ. In Damascus, what? 2,700 warriors of you, 2,700 of your warriors were cut to pieces with the sword, and their only charge against them was that they were fighting for you. Yes, their sacred bull was taken from them. Yeah, what? Their sacred bull was taken from them and roasted alive. Why would the Christians have a sacred bull? What bull? Could it be Apis? The bull of heaven, or the other half of Serapis? Remember, it's Serapis the man, and Apis the idea, or the bull, or the power of heaven that has been comprised, right, to create this dying god mythology, right? Yes, their sacred bull, these are Christians, was taken from them and roasted alive, and their bloody cross, what? Which you gave them as a sign of a battle cry, was broken and burnt. Now, in Crete, right? This is the island, Crete. 1,800 of your warriors who served you well in slaughtering pagans, right, were walled around with fire and roasted alive. In the plains of Agatha, 380 of your soldiers were returning with their booty, having done you great service in destroying heathen temples. When they were set upon by the Gothians. Y'all know who the Gothians here? The Gothians are your Palestinians, right? The Gothians, or the sons of Goth, these would be the guys who was fighting so-called David, right? This is right at the southern tip of what they call Palestine today. It is from these men, the Gothians, that the name Palestine even come. These are supposed to be giants. These are the Goth, right? Is the father of Goliath and his brothers. Remember, Goliath and them are supposed to be a remnant of the Rephaim. Right? Now we see this supposedly happening. Well, it is happening. You dig what I'm talking about? Post first century AD, right? This is when this is going on. And now we look in time and we see this oppression jumping off during the time of Justinian, but that leads to a very singular time, right? We're going to bring that up, right? But let's get into this Council of Nicaea, and let's get into why Constantine. Now, on the plains of Agatha, 380 of your people were killed by the Gothians and destroyed, and for no other cause than they served you. Now, Luamong, the false Christ, cried out to Thoth Gabriel, aka Allah, enough, nigga. I'm gonna have a mortal emperor too. So descend again to the earth to Hatuas or Constantine, and inspire him to raise a mortal army of 40,000 men and move upon Rome. Did this actually happen in history? Right? Did Constantine ever, right, get an army and march on Rome? Did it ever happen? Yes. So when a Waspi is revealing stuff like this, inspire him to raise a mortal army of 40,000 men and move upon Rome, right? Behold, I will prove myself, therefore, to Constantine. Watch this. Hold on. Now we can see in real time, right, that the Roman Emperor Constantine and Maxentius go to war at Milvian Bridge, which is in Rome. The Milvian Bridge is over the Tiber in northern Rome, Italy. It was an economically and strategically important bridge of the era of the Roman Empire and was the site of the famous Battle of Milvian Bridge in 312, which led to the imperial rule of Constantine. This takes October of 312. So this is the dope part about Owaspi. First of all, it lets you know that when this is happening, and then allows you to prove it in real time. So let's see what happens. Luamong is saying, I will show myself before Constantine, and he shall covenant to me. Through him I will drive Baal, aka Zeus, aka Jupiter, aka Shamash, aka Heru, aka Apollo, aka Shiva, aka the third Odin, aka Amun-Ra. Ooh-wee. This is also your El Israelites. Baal, Lord, El, yes, same nigga. Yup. Leviticus 17:7 said y'all was whoring for devils. Huh? Didn't it say, didn't your God say he was going to change the name of the Baalim that you was praising to so you wouldn't speak the name no more? Didn't never say that you ever stopped praising them. Come on home, the creator, man. This is why we showing this stuff. Through him, who? Constantine. Right? Through Constantine, I will drive Baal out of Rome. So this is why Constantine, being led spiritually, not even understanding himself, he doing it out of his own greed. He wants to put the Western and Eastern Rome back together. Remember, this is during Byzantine times. Wasn't till after this you got Constantinople being, named after Constantine. After the defeat of who? Baal in Rome. So during the Battle of Milvian Bridge, we got the two Roman emperors, Maxentius, right? Maxentius, right? Aurelius Valerius Maxentius, right? We got Maxentius, inspired by the pagan god Baal, under the name of Jove, Jupiter, and Zeus, right? All of them is Baal, right? Being inspired by Baal, and we got Constantine the First, Constantine the Great, right? Oh, Hattulas. Flavian, Constantine. Hey, oh yeah, that's right. Y'all ain't know Constantine was a Flavian, did you? Shout out to Malachi Maccabee bringing out the fact that 56 of the 71st emperors of Rome were Flavians. Can't get rid of these niggas. So we got Maxentius inspired by Baal, Constantine inspired by the guy who we know is Christ, who y'all know is Christ, but he got a name that y'all don't know. But the faithists know. And that name is Luamon. And he is a false god who assumes to be the creator and shows himself to Constantine. But let's see. Are you making this up, Cosmon? You making this up. He ain't show himself to, not in real time, Cosmonian, he didn't. Now I want to show y'all something too. Look, this is, see, right here. That's Constantine. Young Flavius Constantinus Valerius. That's my nigga. This is actually Maxentius. Look at Maxentius. That's a nigga. Huh? Maxentius falls into the Tiber River and drowns. Constantine has him fished out. Fisher of men. He cuts his head off and marches it into Rome. Solidifies Rome back into one time, into one thing. But that well, if Rome is the dominant force on the entire planet, and the most part of the known world at that time was ruled by Rome, right? Let's just see something right here. According to church chroniclers, who? Eusebius of Caesarea, and remember this name, y'all, Lactantius. Remember this name. Now, both of these are writers or scribes for Constantine. They right there at the Battle of Milvian Bridge, pre and post. Look what they say. According to the Christian chroniclers, Eusebius and Lactantius, the battle marked the beginning of whose? Constantine's conversion to Christianity. So that shows that what Owaspi's saying is true, that he gonna inspire him, right? Why? Because I will prove myself to Constantine. So before that, Constantine didn't know nothing about Christ. Why? He said, and as I make myself Christ of heaven, so will I make Constantine emperor of the whole earth. And he did. So look, even though we know that the Roman Empire is not the whole earth, right? There is a with that same type of ideology. That's a typology. You dig what I'm talking about? That's esoteric mysticism when you say a kingdom is the whole world. Right? So he's saying he showed himself, right? Watch this. Thoth then descended to the earth to Hatuus, Constantine, who was a clairvoyant and clairaudient and could see both angels and hear them talking. And Thoth Gabriel, aka Allah, induced Constantine to raise an army of 40,000 soldiers and set out for conquest. And when they had come to the plains of Agatha, even where the Christians had been massacred years before, behold, Luamong, aka the false Christ, and his angel host appeared in the heavens above Constantine's army, so that all, right? All. Can I be heard? Okay, all right. So that all the soldiers there, right? All the soldiers there saw their heavenly visitors. And Luamang, look at this. Luamang showed, the false Christ showed Constantine and his soldiers in the air a true cross, a kai and a rope, and on which was written the letters of blood il Christe, or of Christ. Nevertheless, there was no man there present who could read the inscription, and many were the conjectures on its meaning. And in the evening, look, in the evening time when they went to sleep, they was about to go to sleep, the false Christ, Luamong, descended to Constantine and said to him, this is the interpretation of the sign in the cross. So he explained everything that he had seen in the sky to him. He said that in this you shall conquer. With this sign, you shall go on and conquer. This is pre-Milvian Bridge. When did Milvian Bridge happen? October 28th of 312 AD. Right? But remember, it's still got this, you dig what I'm talking about? This idea of, the Roman emperor being the emperor of the world. Right? Just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, Luamang come down to the heaven. Remember, don't nobody know what none of this shit means. So Luamang come explain it to him. Right? He says, this is what it means. In this you shall conquer. And when you arise in the morning, right? When you get up, right? You're going to have a cross be made of most excellent workmanship. And you shall have it inscribed, the Christ. Now, we didn't see the false god Luamong assume the title Christ. What does Christ mean, Cosmon? It means all high knowledge. Right there, we show that can't nothing be the most high knowledge, all knowledge, but the creator. So when this Luamong assumes the title Christ, he becomes false right then. So he says, this is what I want you to have inscribed on the first Kayan row, right? The Christ, our Lord, Son of the Holy Ghost. And in this, you shall cause to be carried at the head of your army. This is called a standard. And your edicts shall be called bulls, papal bulls to this day. This is how you get your power. This is how dumb diversus works. This is how the Reconquista works. This is how the doctrine of discovery works, because they were given by these emperors who become the popes. And because, remember, one of Christ's signs is the bull. His edicts are called bulls. That only happens in the Christian church. Makes sense when you serve the false Christ, the God of the Christians. Your edict shall be called bulls, and they shall be written with lamb's blood in remembrance of the sacrifice of the Jews in Egypt. Fuck. Through which sacrifice the Father in heaven delivered them for what? Wait a minute, where am I at? For I am the Lord of heaven and the earth. And accordingly, a cross was made, highly decorated, inscribed as commanded, and Constantine and his soldiers went forth renewed courage, and so great was their zeal that everything fell before them. Let's go look at back here. Let's go see what. Remember this name, Lactantius and Eusebius. But remember this guy. Let's say what they say. The battle marked the beginning of Constantine's conversion to Christianity. Why would he convert? Because the God showed him, look, right in the picture. Look, right here. The Kai in the road. That's Constantine on his way to Milvian Bridge to fight Maxentius, who they show falling into the river and being drowned. So we know this Constantine, this division. How is this lining? Watch history line up with what a Waspy say. Watch this. Eusebius of Caesarea recounts that Constantine and his soldiers, remember that. Waspy said, what? What did Waspy say? What did Waspy say? That behold, Luamong and his Adria appeared above Hattuas and his army, so that all the soldiers saw. Look what Eusebius and Lactantius is saying. He recounts that Constantine and his soldiers had a vision sent by the Christian God. Who is the Christian God? Christ. This is why they go later on to create a God in the flesh. The representation of Christ in the flesh is Jesus. And this is why they create him. Out of the bones of Jewish monotheism, and pagan religious politics. These are the bones of your Jeebus. They painted his life onto the bones. But look what Eusebius say. Why Eusebius agreeing with a Waspy? Eusebius of Caesarea recounts Constantine and his soldiers had a vision sent by the Christian God, So we know this is the Christian God. We know this Christ. This was interpreted as a promise of victory if the sign of the what? The true cross, the chi, and the rho. What? One of the earliest, no, the earliest forms of the Christogram formed by superimposing the first two capital letters, chi and rho, of the Greek word Christos, or knowledge, which he was assuming to be. This is why the Council of Nicaea, where they create the man, a literary invention, right? Why? Because they want to later paint Constantine in the line of Titus, Vespasian, and Jesus. The point of the Nicene councils was to get the lineage together so they could tie Constantine into being the physical representation of the Christian God Christ. Why? Because this nigga just got his mind blew by a goddamn the chi and the rho being shown into the sky. Now this was interpreted by a promise of victory, right? How they know? How will Waspy know this? How will Waspy know this? That in this you shall conquer. How? Huh? Think they just making it up? No, this shit really happened. Waspy explaining to you how, who, what, and when. Think about it. If you true God, that'd be an easy thing to do. That's why Waspy just put it in a book. The Arch of Constantine, erected in celebration of the victory of Milvian Bridge, certainly attributes Constantine's success to what? Divine intervention. However, the monument does not display any overtly Christian symbolism. Why? Because they hadn't invented them yet. The whole Jesus story hadn't been invented. We going to it. Huh? We going to it. I thought I was showing y'all this right here. That the Arch of Constantine attributes Constantine's success to divine intervention. However, the monument does not display an overtly Christian symbolism. Why? Because Constantine ain't made them up yet. Your God ain't showed him yet. You dig what I'm talking about? Hold on one second, y'all. Let me get back to this. Right? Let me go down here. And it came to pass. Let me highlight all this. And it came to pass that in not many years that Luamon, through Gabriel, who we know Gabriel is the angel of who? Christ, the Christian God. We just found out that Luamon usurped the title Christ, claiming that he is all knowledge when you ain't nothing but a stinking nigga. This a lord, a low nigga, a little low, who feeling himself, smelling himself. Now he all knowledge. Now this is homeboy. This is shooter. Christ shooter, Gabriel, aka Allah, work for Christ. Allah is the shooter for Christ. Right? Look, they captured Baal and all the false gods and all that, and they threw them in hell, right? I want to get down right here. right? Luaman, aka the false Christ, right? Inspired Constantine Hatuas, the mortal emperor, to call together a council of wise men from all the kingdoms of Arabia, Africa, Hellas, Greek, Slavic dynasties, and Russia, Persia, right, from Turkey on back to the Himalayas, and Europe. And when they say Arabia, this includes the Middle East and continental Africa and Europe, in order to select from all the religious doctrines in the world that which was the wisest and best, so that it could be established by kings, emperors, and governors by the sword and spear, so that there would never again be more than one religion, right? That council we know historically is the Council of Nicaea. Now look, and in course of time, right, they told you, remember that it was only 318 bishops. Ain't that what they said? That it was only 318 bishops supposedly at this place. You dig what I'm saying? But look what happened. Look who really come. Why is it only 318 in the end? Let a wasp be revealed. You dig what I'm talking about? Let the great decoder decode, right? And in course of time, there assembled a council of 1,786 learned men from all regions named, and they placed themselves under the rules and presence of Constantine, and he selected from them 140 speakers. 144 speakers. Oh, sound familiar? 144,000. Okay. Do you know why that's important? Not if you don't know the timetables of prophecy. You don't even know why that number. You just think it sounds cool because you think it's tied into some end time religion shit. And 144,000 got to do with some people dying and some people left after God come back and kill every goddamn body. That's why you think it's esoteric here. No, why it's esoteric and hidden? Because it's a number on the time scale of prophecy. Correlating right with the Odic rate. But it's a whole nother thing. If you don't get into it to read it, you'll never know. I already got the knowledge. Do you? If you don't, you better get you an Owaspy, man. If y'all finding, if y'all understanding that history is backing up what Owaspy is saying, but Owaspy is giving the deeper, decoded understanding of what's happening spiritually in the heavens, but also correlating it right to the time of what's happening on the earth. If you get in that understanding, hit me with a 2 in the chat, y'all. Hit me with a 2 in the chat. Right? He made 144 speakers. As for the others, they were divided into groups of 12, besides a goodly number appointed of being scribes and translators, but many having the appearance of Jews. Many having the appearance of niggas. Why? How do we know the Jews was niggas? Because the people who looked like Constantine got to stay. The only thing a person like Arius, who is one of the people who was banished, right, excommunicated from the Christian church and then hawked down later, years later. They hawked them boys down, killed Arius, dude from Alexandria. They killed all them dudes that went against this doctrine. Why? Because Arius knew they were creating a God when Yeshua, the physical man, was just a man. He was just a really special man. That's big, bro. You did what I'm talking about. I ain't taking nothing from the real Yeshua. I'm saying the literal Jesus is an invention. Taken from the lives of and amalgamations of all great Iesus. Iesu means prophet. This is why in the 1611 Bible, they call Jesus Iesu. They don't call him Jesus at all. Because they couldn't come finally in the end to a consensus. So they said, well, shit, all the great prophets was all Iesu. Even Yeshua, real homie, was Iesu. Which means basically above your earthly passions. This is why these niggas was different. You couldn't tempt them with money. You couldn't tempt me with leisure and physical gain and all that shit. There was a buddy. You couldn't tempt me with sex. Right? The appearance of Jews, niggas, like Arius, who is a Libyan, African-born black nigga. The only thing, and he's a Christian. So the only thing that a black Libyan Christian got at the same with the same thing of a 2nd century Jew in appearance is their skin tone. That's the only thing that they would have in common. So if you look black, you couldn't even get into the council of Nicaea. So stop it with that. Oh, this was put for us, together for us, and you know, the Egyptian Bible, the Egyptian Bible of Jesus. They got some pictures in there, y'all. It say it's the oldest Bible in the world, but it don't predate the Nicean Council. So sit your ass down, nigga. Yeah. Sit down, because what none of your ancestors here. How do we know? They was being persecuted. Right? Now look what they did. They amalgamated this shit, twisted it all up. Now, Constantine, being under the inspiration of the false god Luamong, aka Christ, through Gabriel, alias Thoth, aka Jabril, aka Allah, thus spoke, search these books and whatever is good in them. Now, from all the religions, whatever is good in them, right, retain. But whatever is evil, cast away. What is good in one book, unite with what is good in another book, and whatever is thus brought together shall be called the book of books. Huh? And it shall be doctrine. It shall be the doctrine of my people, who? The Christians, which I will recommend to all nations, so that there should be no more war for religious sake. And Thoth Gabriel and his angel horse formed a circle around the mortal council, 1,000 angel deep on each side, extending upward densely for a long way. And then a line of light extending to Christ Luamong's throne in the atmospheric heavens, in the lower heavens, in the underworld, all right, the Duat, huh? In Hopsindi, his heavenly throne. Now look, this book of books, right? This is 181. Let's go look at what Owaspi got to say about it. This is the Christian Bible, this so-called book of books, made by the false god Christ, aka Luamong, being composed of one parts of the Ezra Bible, what we would call Torah Tanakh, right? Which is called the Old Testament, and 2, the composite, listen, the put together books of the new doctrine called Christian doctrine, called the New Testament. The purpose of this latter, right, this book, the Bible, was to set forth the policies of Christ. Didn't it say what? And this shall be the doctrine of my people, which I recommend to all nations. The purpose of this letter was to set forth the policies of Christ and to establish his presence among mortals via an nicean. Go look at the old King James. They don't call Jesus Jesus. They switched that in 1881. What you talking about, Cosmon? Yeah, I know. They didn't switch Iesu to 1881. Now it say Jebus. But before that, it say Iesu, because Iesu is a prophet. Now, the groundwork for this latter goal was accomplished through bringing together diverse stories, right, of many different prophets and concocting them into a single story with only one representative, right, one symbolic prophet, Iesu, Iesus, Jesu, and Jesus. Let me show you how they put it together, right? By day and night, Thoth Gabriel, aka Allah, and his host. Watch. Let me bring it to you. Let me show you how you got your Bible inspired. Why you got what you got in it, and when did the beginning of the doctrine start? We find out that it's 325 Council of Nicaea, right? This is what we find it. Is this why there are ecumenical councils all the way up until the goddamn 1960s? There have been ecumenical councils starting since 325 AD, ending in the 1960s. You ain't got the story together yet? You ain't got that lie together yet? Let me show you when they put the lie together, though. By day and night, Allah and his hosts watched over the mortal council, overshadowing their every thought and word for 4 years. Oh, see, they told y'all that Council of Nicaea was this snappy thing. Oh yeah, we went in there for 5 minutes. We kicked their asses out. Hey, get your black ass out of here. And we put that together in 5 minutes. Break. And we came out of there with a doctrine. That's what they trying to explain to y'all. But that ain't what's happening. Look what OASP is revealing. That for 4 years and 7 months, the council deliberated and selected from 2,231 books and legendary tales. Look at that. And at the end of that time, there had been selected and combined much that was good and great and worded so as to be well remembered by mortals. This is how you got your life. But look, as yet, right? But it's new Christian doctrine. They hadn't selected a God or what you gonna call the God yet. Remember, nobody had praised Christ before. Y'all was calling him Lord, God, El Adonai. You called him everything but Christ, because he hadn't assumed the title yet. So now he creating this earthly doctrine, and he inspired them to call themselves the people to call themselves Christian. So they're gonna create the God and his title. Watch this. As yet, no God had been selected by the Council of Nicaea. So remember, they always keep telling us, oh, this was just a regular thing. We didn't create Jebus in here. No. Jebus had been forever. He was in John. Yes, This is John, right in John 1:1. He is the word, sir. No, the logos. Yeah. He's a sign that it ain't a man. So that force, that would, if you saying that this is a man, right? The force that man used in the beginning of the creation must be going on right now, pointed out to us. Because if it stops for any second, that means your creator, your God, is fake. If your God rested for 1 second, if that force that you claim Jesus in the beginning was creating with ain't creating right now, and that you can't objectively physically point to it, that means your God fake. Why? Because y'all trying to tell me that Jesus, under the power of God, did what he did. Huh? And then got tired after 6 days, rested, he ceased, right? But there have been creations of men and everything and societies and all type of shit going on and all that. Where is the force? He got to use the creator. Now the creator shows us this force in real time, objective. I can look at it, I can point it, I can see it. Okay, damn. All right, is there a fingerprint of it? Does it show itself in the corporality of man and everything? Yes, it does. And boom, 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 boom. Now, when I ask this same stuff about the God, well, point at the thing that creates. Like, show it to me. Like, what creates stuff? If you ain't a faithist, if you ain't been really searching diligently, you have no clue. Your best guess is Big Bang. But to see the thing that, how we know that that's false is the same thing that creates sun, moons, and stars creates people. The same force has to create everywhere, all at the same time. It can't never stop. Y'all misunderstand that as life. Huh? Not understanding that life is separate from the corporeal part. You think you just got to be physical for there to be light? That just means you short-sighted. You got to be, you dig what I'm talking about? Physical. You think you got to have length, width, and mass for there to be life? Wrong. First things first, you got to have the thing that's creating it. You got to have the sign of the thing that's creation. You got to have the logos of the thing that's actually creating. That wouldn't be creator. This is why you're getting mixed up and saying it's Jeebus. No, it's a lesser force. That force is vortex. Huh? We can point at it. Yeah, see the vortexian spin of our galaxy? Yeah, everything does that. Talking about babies, talking about sperm, talking about atoms, talking about electrons, talking about everything spin. I'm talking about if you look at your goddamn thumbprint, your fingerprints, they spin. Scientists try to get, you dig what I'm talking about, fancy and schmancy and say, this is the golden ratio. Silly trap, it's in everything. They right. But look who they was bringing out to be the name of your God, your Christian God in your Bible, right? And this is who they got in the first ballot, right? Now, they gave prominence to these gods. So the Christian God could have been Jove, Jupiter. Y'all ain't even niggas ain't never heard of Selinus. Y'all never heard of Selinus. Right? Baal. Your God just sent his homeboy to put the hit on ball, and then they balloted it to call the God of the Christian faith ball. Dang. Ain't that a kick in the chops? Thor, Gade, Apollo, Juno, Ares, Taurus, Minerva, Retz, Mitra, huh? Theo, look at Big Bruh though. Big Bruh, y'all don't know where forget. See, y'all think we just be making this stuff up. Pragapati is remembered in the world, nigga. Y'all better get into them Hindu, Vedic, Brahmin texts. They know Big Bruh. Pragapati, he was a G. He was a G. Anytime, oh, just so you can know, anytime that they talking about Hercules, right? They really talking about the 22nd arc cycle after the creation of man, or what you would know as 7053 BC to 3953 BC, right? That time was ruled over for real by the great Etherian god Pragapati. That is the time of Leo. This is why Hercules. You dig what I'm saying? Anyway, or the sun in Leo. Hey, okay. Attis, Durga, Indra, Neptune, Vulcan, Christ, Christe, Agni, the great fire, Chrysis, Pleiades, Hewitt, Hermes, Thulis, Thomas. Y'all know about the great Thomas and the house of Thulis. Crazy party, they tried to say he was a god. They tried to say Thulis is a kind of a rebirth of Thoth in the house of Thulis in Egypt, right? Thomas, Aeguptus, Io, the great Big Bruh, Af. Huh? Y'all don't know what he did. If you ain't, hey, listen, this nigga out of control. Showing off, he punched the planet. No, he wasn't showing off. Jaja told him what to do. But this nigga punched the planet. This who caused what you know as the Great Flood. Right? The Great Deluge. This nigga caused it. Showing out for Fiatisi. He was showing out. Hey, if y'all think Ape was showing out, if y'all think Ape was showing out for Fiatisi, man, because you know he brought her there for special guest. You know, I'm gonna call on Jehovah 3 times on the time sync this thing. You know, that's just what I do. If y'all think Ape was showing out a little bit for Fiatisi, man, hit your boy with a 3 in the chat real quick, man. I think he was showing out a little bit, man. I think he was showing out. But look at that. Look who they trying to ballot to be the head name of the God of the Christians. Saturn, Kitchens. Y'all don't know who that is either. Minos, Maximo, Hecla, and Fairness. Right? Besides these, there were 22 other gods and goddesses that received a small number of votes each. In the 7 days after that, another ballot was taken and the number of gods were reduced to 27. Now, in 7 more days, another ballot was taken and the number of gods reduced to 21, and thus the number was reduced each ballot, but slower and slower, right? 6 days in the week, they were allotted to discuss the merits and demerits of the gods, and on the 7th day, they balloted, which means they voted. But many weeks elapsed towards the last when the number was not reduced. So they went many weeks where the number didn't go below 21. So for 1 year and 5 months, the ballot lasted. They ain't never told y'all that. That these men was together, right? First of all, more than 4 consecutive years, right? More than 4 consecutive years, but just almost a year and a half just voting on who gonna be the God. Watch this. Watch this. For 1 year and 5 months, the balloting lasted. And at the time, the ballot rested nearly equally on 5 gods. namely Yov, who is Baal, Christ, who is Luamon, Mars, who was originally Baal too, and he's the second Mars. He kept the name. Krite, right? Who is a servant of Brahma, right? Who would have been of the false god Brahma, and also Shiva or Shiva. You did what I'm talking about, who would have been of the false god Brahma of India too, right? That's crazy. Baal, the fake Christ Luamon. This would have been also Baal, Mars in Rome, in Greek. This would have also been Baal. This would have been the false Krite. This would have also been the false Kabbalactus, aka Brahma. And this name comes from the false god Brahma too, Shiva. We remember these through the great Vedic and Persian dynasties. And here the ballot did not change for the next 7 times, which was 7 weeks. Now Constantine spoke before the council, saying, ours is a labor for all the nations of the earth and for all time. I know the angels of heaven are with us in this matter. We have found 5 gods, good and acceptable before the world. What do you say, council? That the angels give us a sign? Remember they was talking about in the video I showed, right, that the God, right, was manifesting signs through the men, and that the men, right, understood what was going on by the signs. See how Owaspy is breaking this shit down? And then it's being backed historically. This is crazy. This is nuts. It shouldn't be real. It shouldn't be here. If Owaspy is a Dr. Seuss book, it ain't real. None of this shit should line up. None of it. You dig what I'm talking about? But we see it do. Now, if you seeing that Owaspy is lining up with, you know, real historical empirical data to back it up, man, hit your boy with a vortex in the chat. Hit your boy with a vortex in the chat, man. Give me a second, man. Let's run the rhythm real quick. All right, I'm right back at it like I left some. You dig what I'm saying? Let's get back in it real quick. Right? Now, what do you say, right, that the angels give us a sign? So they can't make up their mind. So he telling them, look, dog, we've been here, goddamn it, forever. You see what I'm saying? All right, we know the signs of the angels, right? We know it, right? So why don't we just let the angels show us which God we should pick? This is what Constantine is saying right now. He's saying, what do you say, counsel? That the angels give us a sign. For we all know the angel signs of these gods, right? What would be the angel signs of the god Luamong? It would be the bull, the Kai and the roe, blood, and the sword, and skull and bones, right? Those are the signs of the false god Luamong, right? Also mentioned in Owaski too, right? So he's saying, let them, we can't come to no thing on our own, so we're gonna let the angels pick, right? So the council said, okay, cool, cuz you did what I'm talking about. You the wisest of men. Such a God shall be ours now and forever. So now they choosing a God. Arius was right the whole time. They try to deny what Arius and the other people who at the ecumenical council were kicked out and then later excommunicated and then later hawked down and killed. Yeah, don't let them try to separate. You dig what I'm talking about? Just because after they got excommunicated, they got killed. You think it was just by coincidence? No. Ain't no coincidence. I don't even believe in coincidences. Not knowing what I know now. You dig what I'm saying? I'll be crazy to believe in coincidence. I know everything happened on purpose. Right? The council said you are the wisest men, and immediately there then who the false Christ Luamong and his angels gave a sign in fire of a cross. The Kai in a row, smeared with blood. And it rested what? On a bull's horn, like a cloud of fire on a cloud of fire. Dang. So yeah, I mean, pretty wasn't. Now, if that would have happened to y'all, you dig what I'm talking about? Y'all would have been like, okay. So whoever the bull guy with the cross, we fucking with him. They told you they said that's Christ Constantine. Constantine said, yeah, okay, that's who we rocking with. And that's just how they picked it. Don't let them put no spooky old magic. No, this stuff is real. You dig what I'm talking about? Stuff is real, and this is how they did it. See, if your God explained that he got his whole beginnings from paganism, heathenistic, barbaric practices, you wouldn't praise him. This is why we keep our foot on the neck of the gods, right? Because it don't matter about the laws, the statutes, all the stories, and none of that shit. If your God fake first, don't none of the rest matter. That means all them statute laws and commandments that you scared of dying and going to hell forever for, don't even apply to you. You're not bound to them. What you don't know is they still not. You just bound to the God now. So when he go down, you going down with him. What's the old saying? Read and weep. And at this, what? At this, Christ, that nigga that's coming back in Revelations 19 and 11 on a horse, right? That nigga on that nag that ain't got no name, that got a name that don't nobody know. Huh? That nigga was declared God and Lord of all the nations of the earth. Ain't that true? Ain't y'all worried about Christ coming back? Y'all don't even know. Y'all still confusing Christ with Jesus. Y'all call it Jesus Christ. If Jesus is Christ and Jesus is a Christian, right? What is the name of the Christian God? It's Christ. So Jesus can't be Christ. Even Jesus told you, nigga, don't praise me, praise the nigga who sent me. Right? Showing you they're not the same. That's just more Christian conjecture. And the council agreed on this unanimously. They agreed to put Christ as the head of the Christian church. Are we unanimous on that? Is there any feedback? Anybody got any kickback? Right? If you believe or you understand or know today, 2023, that Christ is the God of the Christians, right? Is there any pushback on that? Right? Put it in the chat. But if you know for a fact that Christ is the head of the Christians, hit me with a 5 in the chat. Hit me with a 5 in the chat if you know, not that you believe. I'm not asking that you believe. If you believe that Christ is the God of the Christians, I'm asking you if you know Christ is the God of the Christians, right? Hit me with a 5 in the chat. Is that fact that the God of the Christians is called Christ? Hit me with a 5 in the chat if y'all understand that. Huh? There we go. Hit me with a 5 in the chat if you understand that today, Christ, right? What they trying to tell you is this mind-numbing. Well, Christ still hints towards its ancient Ahamic roots, that it's all knowledge or a mind state, or what they call Christ consciousness, right? Yeah. I see the fires coming through. Owaspi being proved objectively again, not by what you believe, by what you know. You know for a fact the God of the Christians is named Christ. You just didn't know why. This is why I call Owaspi the great decoder. This is why you on your knees, holy, holy, holy to Christ. Because they told you and made up the fact that this nigga was God. He ain't even a God. He ain't even a God. Look, let's go back and look at this real quick. The next question was, right? Now, hold on. Let me go back and read that one right above it. And the council agreed that Christ was going to be the Lord of all nations of the earth, and they agreed to this unanimously, and moreover, to reject all other gods. This is why God says, have no other gods before me. Huh? How, nigga? That means it's somebody on your level. The next question was, look, listen, what mortal representative should be chosen? So now they didn't pick the God. The God gonna be named Christ, right? Over these Christians. It's not gonna be Serapis no more. It's not gonna be vague anymore. We solidifying this doctrine at the Council of Nicaea, right? And in the first ballot brought out the following men. Now these are men. Now in some of these places, in religions, they will try to tell you that these men are God. But look, I want you to notice whose stories they're taking this from and making up the amalgamated life of Jesus. Because can we find these stories predating the time of Jesus, 325, even if you want to say it in the first century, predating the first century, can we find these archetypes already hundreds and thousands of years old before Jesus? Yes. Yeah. Huh? Zarathustra. What they take from Zarathustra, Cosmon? The whole idea of dying on a cross in between two thieves. That happened to Zarathustra, nigga. They just applied that to this made up Jeebus. The nigga who had somebody who traded on him named Judas. Yeah, Zarathustra, 7,000 years. 7,000 years before Jeebus was even thought about. A nigga named Judas turned on Zarathustra. Astounding the wise men as a youngster. Yeah, Zarathustra. Going into the great city, learning from the learning and teaching the prophets. Oh, that's Zarathustra. Yeah, he did that. Y'all don't even know who Thothma is. Huh? Y'all heard of Abraham, but y'all don't know no mother. Y'all don't know my mama, my big homie Abraham. Huh? What year he was born? What time he walked Egypt into the tribes of Iz and Zerah, and also the Lycians, who go on to be called the Hyksos, aka the Shepherd Kings, right? What time he walked them niggas in? What year? You ain't kin to Abrams, nigga. You not real Israelites. If you knew that, if he was your family, like you claiming, you'll know when a nigga was born. You know when he did what he did. You know how long Israel really been in Africa. You know that the descendants of the Orishas, all of them, men, descend from that mixed in stock of the Shemitic people mixing back in with the Hamitic people. Proof of it is the hair. The Aboriginal Africans come with short, tight, coarse hair. Now we got people over there with long, black, coarse nigger hair. Why? Because you got that nigger admixture in it. Where it come from? Abram. Migration patterns. Admixture. Nigga, we have been there thousands of years. We have been there damn near 1,000 years before there was an Egypt. Let that sink in. They took the stories from Abraham. This is why Abraham and Moses tie right up with Jesus. Brahma, y'all don't know about Big Bruh Brahma? Huh? You don't know nothing about Otis. You don't know nothing about Thomas. You don't know about my bruh. Yeshua. Huh? This real Jesus. This real Jesus. The guy that y'all always talk about, Yeshua, in the story. There was a real nigga. Did y'all know that? Bet y'all don't know what year he was born. Bet y'all don't know when he died. Real Yeshua was born in 146 BC, died 36 years later, not 33. 36 years later in 110. During the Hasmonean dynasty. The whole Sermon on the Mount, Yeshua. That's Big Bruh. Y'all don't even know who this is. Right here. Unless you read Owaspi, or maybe you get into the Vedic text, y'all understand what Sakaya is. Who Sakaya is. This the guy that they trying to tell you is Buddha. Buddha, a man. They try to say, remember Sakaya Gautama? Yeah. This the guy that they're conflating with Buddha. No, that nigga worked for the creator. He never want to be served or praised or none of that. But he was so powerful. And his stories had been told through time, just like Yeshua. You got to remember, Sakaya, right? Buddha is a contemporary of Confucius. They was at the same time. What about Habra? What about Bali? Kriti? Uh-oh. Krishna. Huh? Krishna had a gospel that was adopted, brought to the so-called Nazarenes by a man named Apollonius Satayana. The real first century Christ. Huh? The real first century Jesus is named Apollonius Satayana. He brought a doctrine of Krishna. Remember the stories of Jeebus and the Aquarian Gospels going down into India to go get a gospel? Yeah. They went to go get Krishna gospel. What about Tulis? Look up Tulis or the house of Tulis in Egypt. Witoba. Y'all don't even know nothing about Witoba in America. What about Spio? Besides these were included the ballad of 46 other men. Right? Now look. God, true God, the son of Yahweh, the creator, said, behold, the council of Nicaea. All right, Cosmo. I know y'all thought I was making it up. I know y'all thought that, man, ain't no way that, he really breaking down the Council of Nicaea, some stuff that's proven historically. It's not Cosmon idea, man. It's not my point of view. It's not my belief. True God. Huh? Yeah, we believe in God. We just don't praise him. That's bruh. Understand, there's somebody who tell God what to do. Uh-oh. Right? True God, son of the creator, said, behold, the council of Nicaea balloted for 12 months as to what man heard the voice. So after this, they have been going on for a whole year about which nigga they gonna say is the man, right? The physical representation of Christ on earth, right? Now look what True God saying. True God is asking you right now a question. Do you say that the creator sends his matters to a council of men to decide on it? He asking y'all a question. Right? He asking y'all a question. And I'm asking you the question. Do you think the creator of sun, moons, stars, time, everything, do you think he's sending his matters, his duty of creation down to let men judge it? If you think the creator send men to judge him, hit me with a fire emoji in the chat. Hit me with a fire emoji. If you think the creator send his shit to men to be judged, hit me with a fire emoji in the chat. If you don't think the creator send his shit to man and he don't give a damn what man think about what he doing, right? Hit me with a vortex in the chat, right? Hit me with a vortex in the chat. If you think the creator is smarter than these niggas, don't need they okay, Don't need their approval. You dig what I'm talking about? Don't give a damn about what they got to say in their lowly nigga minds. Well, mind you, there ain't no niggas there. So in their lowly cracker minds, if you think he sent it to a council of niggas, barbaric warriors, to get the okay from, man, if you think he don't give a damn about what they say, hit me with a vortex in the chat, y'all. You dig what I'm saying? This is true God asking y'all a question, man. Y'all think Jaja need a man okay in a council? Huh? Let's go look what Constantine say, though. That's a question you got to answer for yourself. Do you think the creator need the okay of a nigga? If you believe that, you got a long way to go. But look, Constantine said the gods will not let us choose any man. Now, therefore, hear me. Look what Constantine say. He say all the lawgivers chosen by the gods have been Aisu. What is Aisu? Cosmonian. Let's look it up. Let's look it up real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna open up an OWASP. I'm gonna open up an OWASP. And we're gonna go get the definition of Aisu. All right. Let me see. Let's go get some definitions of Aisu. First of all, the word Aisu, right, is really an iteration of the word Yeshua. Right? Yeshua. Let's first of all, let's show you that many of these concepts that we've got stepped down into the Bible, you dig what I'm talking about, and into the religious ideology actually come from real things in the spiritual world. Right? Let's go here in OWASP. Let me show you this. Right? Because see, Yeshua is a place, not actually a man. Right? I'll even back it up. We'll go to 8 and 4. Chapter of Ashong, right? Book of Ashong, chapter 8. We're going to start at 4. Right? So it came to pass through the lords and the shars, right? Through the lords, the lowest of the emancipated angelic beings, right? Who run areas like states and kingdoms, you know, stuff like that. These are the low guys. So the Lord, the Most High, is our most low. The guys who work directly with people, who we call our guardian angels, are ashars. So it came to pass that the little lords who work for God, the real ones, and they homies who they sent out to work directly with us, man, the ashars, aka the guardian angels, that is, who the guardian spirits with mortals, that the name Yeshua was established on earth. God said in the time of Cosmon, now men shall say, right, where did the name of of heavenly things come from? Ain't that what we doing right now? But in the origin of Yeshua shall lie hidden away, right? Till when? To the remnant of the Algonquins start to bring it out, To the sons of the Most High start to explain it. Shout to the Creator gang. Shout to the 4 horsemen. Because the origin of Yeshua, don't get it confused with a man, shall lie hidden away. And Yahweh, the Creator, will stretch forth his hand in that day. What day? Today. And disclose all. But mortals, look, men were thick in the tongue, and could not say at the time, Yeshua. Now, mind you, the time of Ashong is the second 3,000 year period after the creation of man. So 69,000 years ago today. As a matter of fact, 69,175 years ago exactly is the time we're talking about. So at that time, man could not say Yeshua. Why? Because he was thick in the tongue. And he said, Ahisu. Aesu. Yeshua sounded like Aesu. Aesu. From which came the name of what? Many men. Aesu, what does it signify? Signifying without evil, which is the ultimate salvation of the soul. Yeshua is a place, which became the name of many men. Now let's go back, right? So the name Ayesu, right? Hold on, let's go back. Constantine said all the lawgivers chosen by the gods have been Ayesu, or without sin, above their lower selves. Now, since we cannot make preference as to a singular man, let us just say the man Aisu. Now go back into your old King James versions written in Old English. See what they call the man. The man is named Aisu. Cosmon ain't making this up. Look what it say, right? It's got an annotation, right? 182, right? And down to 183. Watch this. Right? Latin ultimately shifted the initial I to a J. Not just Iesu to Jesu or Iesus to Jesus, but in other words as well, i.e. Jupiter to Jupiter, Janus to Janus. Y'all know where Janus is? Go look up the Jains at the who live in India. Juno to Juno, June, etc. The word Iesu was used in the Vulgate. Go look in your old Bibles. Go look in your Vulgate. Go look in your 1611 original versions. Right? Now go look. The word Iesu was used in the Vulgate, which was St. Jerome's Latin translation of the Christian Bible from Hebrew into Latin in the late 300 CE or the 4th century at the Ecumenical Council after 325 in Nicaea. Remember, these ecumenical councils kept happening for the next 1600 plus years. Now note, right, it says, regarding the fabricated story of the representative Iesu or Jesus, that indeed for the whole of the time period from his supposed birth to his supposed crucifixion, there is no statement in the available Roman records mentioning a Jesus. as identified by the Christian story. How do we know that? Because there's only one person telling a story in one book, and that's Josephus. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. So since they couldn't come up with one name, they just said, let's name all the men was Aisu's, right? Let's go to another, right? Let's go. One second. Watch this. This is in the definitions in OWASP, right? Look, this is in the definition of Yahweh, Jehovah. One who can hear Yahweh's voice is an I or Iesu. Some scholars have erroneously used the words Jehovah, Elohim, and Ayu or you as synonymous, right? So an Iesu is a person who can hear Yahweh's voice, right? Now, an Iesu, a sexless person. Now, when they say that, many people can try to attach that to be a hermaphrodite, but I don't think so. I think it's a person who is above the need or want for sex, right? Also could also just be an effeminate man. But it clears it up right here in the definition when they say sexless. That don't mean that he ain't got no penis, or that don't mean she ain't got a vagina and boobies, because Iesus can be women too. It's just anybody who can hear the voice, right? But an Iesu is that step beyond the prophet. This that nigga that the spirit worked through, right? Now look, is a sexless person, one without the possibility of sexual passion. Nigga, I ain't even got it in me. So the whole Rosicrucian idea that Jesus has descendants and he married Miriam and all that, nigga, that's a lie. This nigga wouldn't even want it. He doesn't have the possibility to want it. He don't even have a possibility of sexual passion. This is why he's so focused. He passed his body. He know his body just a vessel for things to happen through. This is an Iesu. This is what a real Yeshu is. Now, some men, such as Big Bruh Brahma, y'all get into the story of Brahma. It's a beautiful read. The only real, now I'm not talking about the God, I'm talking about the man who the God is trying to assume to be. Ooh-wee. Go read his story. Some men, as Brahma, attain to be Iesu, like Jesus. So this start to make sense when Jesus say the things that I do, you can also do an even greater. Well, how? Because nigga, you can earn this status while you still in your physical body. Improperly, right? It's improperly called Iesus. The Hebraic word you was made from Aisu, one who can hear the voice of the Great Spirit. Ayu has been, or you has been improperly confounded with Yahweh, the Creator. Men who attain Aisu are said to have attained the state of woman, i.e., to have changed sex. Now, when they, of course, didn't know man turn into a woman. They talking about energy, male and female energy, understanding that the negative state is the prophetic state. So yeah, man being positive, quote unquote, energy, or the guy who goes forth to conquer or whatever, or create, you dig what I'm talking about, turns himself around and gets into the negative, more receptive, more nurturing state, or what they call negative or female state. This is not a real thing. So I want y'all to see these literary rights, right? And apply that to when they're talking about splitting the world, because there's a great thing that when I found this out, right, and I start looking and studying into this story, right? This story and learning the Nicean Council and all that stuff started making other things come forth, the other stuff that I had read and whatnot, you know what I mean? I'd it starts to bring forth the stuff that you thought you already knew, right? And look, the Council of Nicaea did not sin, for the doctrine set forth as Iesus were for the Creator. But where their words made worshipful the names Christ and Holy Ghost, behold, that matter is with the false Christ, Luamon. Right? God said, my testimonies were previously that Abraham, Brahma, and Moses, and I did not speak of Christ, nor of the Holy Ghost. I spoke of God and of the I am. Those are the doctrines of Abraham, Brahma, and Moses. Not no Holy Ghost. Not no Christ. This is why they're trying to mix it all up. They have said, whoever speaks a word against the Son of Man, who? Iesu, the invented Jesus, it shall be forgiven him. But whoever speaks against the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven him. Therefore, let Luamon bear his own testimony to the kingdom from which it sprang. The Holy Ghost was his labor. He made that shit up. Yahweh said, nigga, did I get soft? Look what Creator say. Had I weakened since the time of Moses? Nigga, did I need to incarnate myself in a physical stinking body in order to make man understand? Nigga, have I gotten so weak since the time of Moses that you think I need to come down as a stinking nigga named Jeebus to make a nigga understand me, the Creator of sun, moon, star, and every goddamn thing else? That's what you think I need. You think I need some help. Nigga, didn't I tell you wasn't nobody here when I started doing what I was doing? What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna keep on limiting the Creator with these lies and contextual BS? Or you gonna see that couldn't be no limit to your Creator? Why would he need a nigga to do anything? You think I need a man? Y'all tripping. Look what true God say. Sufficient for the time is the work of Yahweh, because the triunes, who? The triunes, the Trinity gods, aka Christ, aka Brahma, and aka Buddha, right? Who go on to be four gods, Buddha, Brahma, Christ, and Allah, overthrew the oracles of hundreds of false gods and hundreds of sacred books full of error and evil. Behold, they fulfilled their time. They did what they were supposed to do. Right there, they could have came back to the Creator like, oh man, we was tripping. We was tripping because my bad. You dig what I'm talking about? All right, I'll get right. But no, they wanted the power and the glory, the money and the power. Money and the power. Christ don't give a fuck. He want the money and the power. Because they had already fulfilled their time by the Nicean Council. It could have left it at that, and it could have been counted a good work for y'all knocking down the oracles of Delphi and all these temples where people were getting obsessed by the angelic host of these false deities, leading them to war and all that shit. Remember when Leonidas, before he went to war against Xerxes, he went up the mountain and asked the oracle, should he go to war? And remember the oracle went crazy and all that? Yeah. That's real. Luamong and Jabril smashed all that. That's why we don't see that no more. Sufficient for another time, even the present, Cosmon, is another work of Yahweh, which is to establish his presence in a living generation. Yahweh said, Creator said, behold, I created and I am sufficient for all men. Now, right, there is a weird connection, right? So this got me thinking, right? Because the first thing that came to my mind was, we know this oppression and all this stuff was going on, and we know it's around the time of Constantine, but when did it start, right? It starts with his daddy getting put into position by Maximilian, but by who? Diocletian, right? But one crazy thing happens during the time of Diocletian, right? What is Diocletian known for, right? What is Diocletian known for? Diocletian is known for splitting Rome in two, right? Now, look at this. In AD 286, the Roman Empire was split into two, into an Eastern and Western empires, each ruled by its own emperor. The Western Empire suffered several Gothic invasions, and in AD 55 was sacked by the Vandals. Rome continued to decline after that until, remember this number, AD 476, as they say, the fall of the Western Roman Empire came to an end. It is false. It did not. That's when it was sacked again by Orontius, who was what they call a barbarian, a Gaul. You dig what I'm talking about? But it actually didn't fall, because if you actually look in the year 536, right, they come and sack Rome in 536, 60 years after this date. And there's a crazy thing that happened at time. But look, the known world, or the Roman world, was split in two, right? So that got me to thinking. You dig what I'm talking about? Remember how they said Rome was the whole world, right? And Constantine got it. And when under Constantine, what was happening was the Eastern Roman Empire was fighting the Western Roman Empire. And this is how they said it was put back together. And the Christian doctrine became the Orthodox doctrine of the Romans, and hence the Christians, right? But that would mean that the world was split first. We see that split coming to 86 under Diocletian, right? That the Roman world was split in two. And when Constantine got it back, he was the ruler of the whole world, emperor of the whole world, when he connected the Eastern and Western empires, right? We know that's a literary typology. You dig what I'm talking about? It's not, in fact, the whole world, but it's the whole known Roman world that was being dominated, right? So that got me to thinking, right? When was the world ever split in two? Right? Now, this got me to thinking. According to Genesis 10 and 25 and Chronicles 1 and 19, it was during the time of Peleg that the world was divided. Now, traditionally, with the apologists, right, they try to say this happened after the failure of the Tower of Babel, whose construction was traditionally attributed to Nimrod. Well, when you ask them niggas, what year was Nimrod born? Huh? What year did this happen, sir? What year is the Tower of Babel? But remember, this is a Roman literary invention that wasn't created till 325, so 286 is right in its purvey, right? And during that time, that what they call Peleg, the earth was divided. The only time the earth was ever divided was under the Roman Empire being split into two. Let's look at Genesis real quick. Genesis 10 and 25, and unto Eber were born two sons. The name of one is Peleg, for look, in his days the earth was divided. We know the goddamn, listen, ain't no two hemispheres of the earth. I mean, that's split in half. Ain't no two earth. The earth didn't crack in half like an egg. Did the yolk run out? What happened? We know this is an analogy for a thing actually happening. That the earth was divided. Right? So this actually can't be Pangea, because wasn't no humans on the planet then. And it actually can't be during the flood that the time was split. Because remember, Eber is a son of Shem. So this is after the flood, after years and years and years and years after the flood. So what are we talking about? And this is a key. That Peleg, bro, was Yoktan. Remember, the K is silent. So the word is Yoktan. Peleg, the world was split. Him, bro, was Yoktan. Who is Jotun? What is a Jotun? Jotuns come from Old Norse. Right where, hold on, we about to show you where these boys is. In the Gaulish region of France. Watch this, hold on. Look. Right here. Look at that. See that? These are where your Jotun, your Norsemen are from. Let me show you this connection. Right? So Peleg, in his time, the earth was split in two. And Jotun was his bro. So where Jotun is from is Peleg, bro. So whatever Jotun did, is connected to Peleg because that's his bro. Right? Now, since we know during the time of Diocletian is the only time in history where it is said that the earth was split in two, we need to go look at Diocletian. Because I'm going to show y'all something. That Peleg is a time correlating to a man. Because during his time, Diocletian, the world was split in two. During the time of Peleg, what happened? The earth was divided. So this is what we know in history, right? Nicknamed Jovius was a Roman emperor from 284 until his abdication in 305, right? What happens in 305? Here's a little homie. The homie from Yoktan. Uh-oh. Takes rule. What? Wait. We gonna go, right? Because we gonna show where Dalmatia and all this shit is. Look at it. We're gonna show y'all where that stuff is. Right? Right above Greece, Macedon, all this. Right? We're gonna show y'all who from there. Right? We're gonna go down a little bit. Diocletian's reign stabilized the empire and ended the crisis of the 3rd century. Right? What is the crisis of the 3rd century? Also known as the military anarchy or the imperial crisis, which is a period in which the Roman Empire nearly collapsed. The crisis ended due to military victories by Aurelian and with the ascension of Diocletian and his implementation of reforms. So they was banging on the so-called Christians. Remember they told you thousands of them was killed in Eccles. Marcianus was killing Christians in Northern Africa and all that. Remember? So that's the crisis of the 3rd century. Right? He appointed his fellow officer? Maximian, naming Herculius, and as Augustus. And co-emperor in 286, Diocletian reigned in the Eastern Empire. Look. And Maximian reigned in the Western Empire. See? Diocletian, so he split the world in half. Diocletian delegated further on March 1st, 293, appointing Galerius, right, who was Maximinius, right? Remember the guy who died at the Battle of Milvian Bridge? And who? Flavius Valerius Constantinus. Y'all know who that is? That's Constantine daddy. Right? He was called Constantinus the First, not Constantine the First. He was only a Roman emperor from 305 to 306. He was one of the 4 original members of the Tetrarchy. Right? So you had the emperor of the Western Empire and the emperor of the Eastern Empire. They're second in hands, or Caesars, right? Their second in hand, or Caesars, were Galerius, Maximianus, and Flavius Valerius Constantinus. Huh? Uh-oh. Watch this. Now, as junior colleagues, right? As junior colleagues, each with the title of Caesar. So, Diocletian's brother is Constantinus, seen as Constantinus, the Caesar, who not only is born in the land of the Yotan, but dies in the land of the Yotan. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's go back. All right. So the first four niggas of the tetrarchy, or rule of four, each tetrarch ruled over a quarter division of the empire. Diocletian secured the empire's borders and purged it of all its threats. So this is how Constantine, right, later on becomes the quote unquote ruler of the world, right? Now, all right, hold on. All right. Hold on 1 second. Where was I at? So I'm showing you the connection of the separation, or the earth being divided in the time of Peleg, comes historically during the rule of Diocletian, where he splits the world in half, or splits the Eastern Roman Empire. Look at that. From the Western Roman Empire. Most of the known world at the time. You dig what I'm talking about? So we can see during these times, historically, the Christians was being oppressed. That is during the time of Diocletian, right? They always try to say Rome fell in 476, right? They always try to make that claim, right? Look at it. Look at this. The fall of the Western Roman Empire. Right? The fall of Rome was completed in 476 when the German chieftain Odoacer deposed the last Roman emperor of the West, Romulus Augustulus. The East, always richer and stronger, continued as the Byzantine Empire through the Middle European ages. Correct? Right? But it's not till 60 years later that it actually was supposed to have failed in the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Because remember, they just admitted, right, that actually what had happened was, right, the German chieftain, Odoacer, opposed the Roman emperor, deposed the Roman emperor. Not that Rome itself fell. He just became the Western Rome emperor. It kept going. How do we know? Because exactly 60 years later, they say exactly 60 years was, or the year 536 AD was the worst year to be alive in the whole world. Right? Odd, right? But it was some great things going on in the world at that time that Owaspi explained, like the sky being blackened. Y'all didn't know that? Did it put us in like it blacked out the sun for like 2 years? Did y'all know that? Look at this. In the year 536 was the worst year to be alive. What happened? Was the year 536 AD the worst ever? The 6th century boasted many exceptional events, people, and historical contributions. The exception, however, was 1 year that was particularly burdened with a level of tragedy and strife most historians say surpassed any other moment in history, 536 AD. Supposedly 60 years after Rome had already fell. Watch this. This was the worst part of the Dark Ages. The year 536, Roman numerals, was a leap starting on Tuesday of the Julian calendar. At the time, it was known as the year after the consulship of Belisarius. The denomination 536 of this year has been used as early medieval period when the Anno Domini calendar era became the prevalent method in Europe for naming years. Right? Now look, in 2018, medieval scholar Michael McCormick nominated 536 as the worst year ever to be alive because of the extreme weather events, probably caused by a volcanic eruption earlier in the year, using average temperatures in Europe and China to decline and resulting in crop failures and famine for well over a year, almost 2 years. The whole sun was blocked out. Now, during that time, we do see in roughly 535 the Krakatoa. The Krakatoa explosion of the volcano. You dig what I'm talking about? Now look. Now Rome's supposed to already be smashed, right? But let's go see. Now look. Now in the springtime, 536, Emperor Justinian appoints his cousin Germanius as Magister Militum, or to deal with the crisis in Africa. He sends a mobile force of comitatus, mostly cavalry, and an elite guard. Solomon, the previous Magister Militum, returns to Constantinople. So notice that Constantine has already made Constantinople his capital, but this happens in 312. Remember, after the Battle of Milvian Bridge, what Constantine do? He put the Western and Eastern civilizations back together. He walked into what we would call Babylon now, in Persia, no, not Persia, but Babylon and all that stuff, and named that place Constantinople. You dig what I'm talking about? Over there in the Middle East. Now in the summer, he had the Gothic War, 535 to 554. You dig what I'm talking about? Now, Belisarius crosses the Strait of Messina and invades Italy. He conquers the city of Rhegium and advances to Naples. In November, the siege of Naples. Belisarius captures Naples after months' siege by sending troops into the city through an abandoned Roman aqueduct. So, right, they're trying to say that Rome fell, right? But we see Justinian sending Belisarius into Rome, right, to deal with the people who are what they call Goths in the land, right? Belisarius enters Rome through the port Anasaria, and the Gothic garrisons of 4,000 men flees the city. He sends an urgent request for reinforcements to Justinian I, meanwhile preparing Rome for a siege by bringing in great quantities of food and other supplies. In the winter, Belisarius sets up his headquarters at the Pinetian Hill and repairs the neglected city walls of Rome. He stations a 5,000 man garrison, of whom half his personal bodyguards, Bucellari, to hold parts of the city. He recruits another 20,000 young Romans to man the walls. Now in 536, the volcanic winter of 536, a volcano erupts in Iceland. Watch this. Let's see. What major volcano is in Iceland? Pick one. The main active volcanoes in Iceland run along a curved central line, roughly from northeast to southwest. From north to south, the volcanoes are named Krafla, Astja, Lochtifaruj, Grimshof, Hekla, who was supposed to be the daughter of Odin and the ruler of hell. Vatnakolja, Jokul, and Katla, followed by Hime and Surtsey on the Westman Islands. Right? They're saying one of these, they think one of these blew up. Where was I at? Go back here. Right? But Owaspy tells you what happens in 536. That it wasn't volcanic ash. Right? You say in the famine, right, is described in the annals of Ulster. In March, Ostrogothic king Theodahad cedes province in Upper Alemannia to the Franks. Gaining their support in the war, he sends a large Gothic army into Dalmatia. Right where your boy is from, Diocletian and all them. They defeat the Byzantines. Mundus is killed during the fight at Salona, and the Byzantine army withdraws. Now, Constantius, Magister Militum, under Illyricum, retakes Dalmatia. The Goths abandon Salonia and withdraw to the north. The Byzantines rebuild the walls and reclaim the province. Now, but I want to show y'all that for more than almost 18 months to 2 years, the sun didn't shine. Right? He becomes king of the Ostrogoths. Let me go down here. Now, the Battle of the River Bagradus, Belisarius defeats the mutinies and hurries back to Sicily, Asia. January 26. Cinca succeeds his brother Ankan as the 28th emperor of Japan. In August, volcanic winter of 536, snow falls in China, which causes the harvest to be delayed. Right? Now look, we want to show y'all some more that these ecumenical councils kept going. Right? Pope Agapetus the first dies in Constantinople after a reign of just 10 months. He is succeeded by Silverius as the 58th Pope. Now, mind you, 56 of 70 are Flavians, including Constantinus. Now, look. They have the Council of Constantinople in 536. What? Same year, they has the Council of Jerusalem. Right? Now, look, extreme weather in 535 thought to have been caused by an extensive veil of what? Dust in the atmosphere began in the northern hemisphere. They don't understand nebula. They don't understand Aja. They continue until the following year, causing unseasonal weather and crop failure worldwide. It is possible that it is caused by the eruption of the volcano Krakatoa. But Krakatoa is in El Salvador, Central America, not in Iceland. Right? Right. Now remember, we have brought this guy up. Right? Lactantius. They're going to tell them we brought up the homie Lactantius. If y'all forgot, this is along with Eusebius. He is in the court of Constantine as a scribe. Y'all following me? Right? Let's learn a little bit about Lactantius from Wikipedia. Lucius Salicius Firminius, or aka Lactantius, born 250, died 325. Look, he died the year of the Council of Nicaea. Look at that. Was an early Christian author who became a what? An advisor to Roman Emperor Constantine I, guiding his Christian religious policy in its initial stages of emergence. So that would be 312 on up. And a tutor to his son Crispus. Flavius Julius Crispus. Nigga, it's Flavians everywhere. You cannot get rid of these dudes, man. His most important work is the Institutionis Divine, or the Divine Institutes, an apologetic treatise intended to establish the reasonableness of truth and Christianity to pagan critics. Right? Now, let's see. He is best known for his apologetic works, widely read during the Renaissance by humanists who called Lactantius the Christian Cicero. Also often attributed to Lactantius is the poem Phoenix, which is based on the myth of the phoenix. Phoenix is an immortal bird that cyclically regenerates or otherwise is reborn from Egypt and Arabia. Though the poem is not clearly Christian in its motif, modern scholars have found some literary evidence in the text to suggest the author had a Christian interpretation of the Eastern myth as a symbol of resurrection, or he just made it up. Now, they say Lactantius was of Punic or Berber origin. That means he's from Tunisia, Carthage. All right? Right? So this is an African. Lactantius. Now, the crazy part is let's show you this. If y'all getting a little something out of here, hit Cosmine with a 6 in the chat, bro. Hit your bro with a 6 in the chat. I got to bring this out. You dig what I'm talking about? I got to bring this out. Because remember, Lactantius is the right-hand man to Constantine. He was right there for all of it. When Christ showed Constantine the shit in the sky, Lactantius was right there. When he told this story later on, he was right there. Lactantius and Eusebius both wrote it down. Now dig this. Let me blow this up for y'all. Let me blow this up for y'all. Because this is a book, right? I brought it out before. And it just ties up a lot of shit. Now, this book is called Antiquity Unveiled, right? And what it does is it is a medium, right, who goes into trance states and is getting these downloads from the spirit world. But the spirit world is sending these people back for a reason, to tell you about the people who was really there, to tell you about the heathen origins of Christianity, right? So let's bring this book out, right? So this book got everybody you can think of that got anything to do with Christianity. They got forced to come back and tell the truth. Uh-oh. Let me blow this up a little bit. Right? This is Lactantius. Let's see. Now, mind you, this is 1881 too. Crazy. They rewrote the Bible. We got a waspy. And this shit got all brought down in 1881, all in the same year. Now, this is Lactantius' spirit, purportedly to be speaking through a man. You ain't got to believe it. This is just what it's saying. Now, the crazy part is, when you go back and you look at Lactantius, what he's saying, you can't deny any of it. He proves it historically. Watch this. Lactantius, sir, I wish you well. My subject will be the identity. Look what he's saying. My subject will be the identity between paganism and Christianity. Uh-oh. The Christian writers have been the vilest interpreters of the pagan authors. What? They have stolen every good thing. Didn't it say, didn't Constantine tell them, hold on, mix what good with, hold on, let me go back. Hold on. Right here, look. Look what it say. Let me show y'all. It say, Search these books, and whatever is good in them, retain them. But whatever is evil, cast it away. What is good in one book, unite it with what is good in another book. These are pagan books. At the Council of Nicaea. Whatever is thus brought together shall be called the book of books, the Bible. And it shall become a doctrine of my people, the Christians, which I will recommend to all nations, so that there should be no war for religion's sake. Hold on. Where was I at? How is Lactantius telling us that the Christian writers are interpolating the pagan authors and that they have stole everything good with him? How does he know? Why? Because Lactantius was there. He just died in 325. Right? Remember, before they got down to signaling on a god and all that and on a physical representation, they put what was good with what was good and combined it and said that's the Bible. The Christian authors have stolen every good thing from the pagan authors, from them that they could find, and they have claimed it as their own, as the Bible. They have simply forged a new system in imitation of the old. And the old is not very highly honored by it. How is this going down in Owaspy and through this nigga in the same year? 2 different times, 2 different places, 2 different people who don't know each other. They ain't say shit about Owaspy in here. Nothing. They have simply forged a new system in imitation of the old. They forged Christianity. And the old is not very highly honored by it. If the great infinite God, he asked the question, if the great infinite God ever wished to make a revelation to a man, it is strange. It's weird as fuck that he would give a system that is identical with the one that's already known in existence. So this is why, it's the same reason why Owaspy is so different from Bible. That would be strange. It would be weird if Creator was going to bring you a revelation using the old shit. I'm bringing you this brand new revelation. I'm bringing you PS5, right? I'm bringing you this brand new PS5, but I'm gonna put it in this Atari Genesis, Sega Genesis box. I'm gonna put this brand new technology, this new revelation, this PS5 into this Nintendo. No, nigga. I'm gonna come with the new. That's what they did with Owaspy. That make more sense. This is how we know Lactantius is telling the truth. He said, nigga, that's weird as fuck. Why would the infinite God do that? Bring it in the identical same package that you already know. Look, look what Lactantius say. I refused utterly to accept the high position which was tendered me. By who? Constantine. He said, I turned down the position that was tendered me if I would help to build up this religious system known as Christianity. Look at that. Look, he said, I turned it down. Look what he go on to say, though. This is revealing. He says, sir, now he's talking to the man who's recording. It is one of the brightest jewels in my crown in spirit life that I refuse to write this system known as Christianity. It's one of the brightest jewels in his crown in the heavens that he didn't go along with the lie. All those men who lived between the second and third centuries identified themselves with Christianity because its outlook was the most promising. In the first place, its moral code is stolen from ancient systems, and principally from the collection of manuscripts of Ptolemy Philadelphus. We got Ptolemy in here too. Who did Philadelphus, Ptolemy, get the books from? Him, daddy. Ptolemy Lagi. Lagi. Look it up. Now, in the second place, it is a combination of Neoplatonism. So that's that new twisted up version of Plato's ideology. Y'all ready to drop a bomb? Y'all want Cosmon to drop a bomb? Now let me read it. In the second place, it is a combination of Neoplatonism and the Gnosticism taught at Rome and pantheism of Egypt and Greece. But y'all want Cosmon to drop a bomb on you real quick? Y'all want to know what the name of the science of this Neoplatonism is? The Neoplatonism is called, right, or it's understanding, which actually dates back to Zoroaster, who taught Hercules, who goes on to teach Plato, Socrates, all these niggas, right? They got their shit from him. But the Neoplatonism, y'all want me to drop this bomb on you? Hit me with a vortex. Hit me with a vortex in the chat. Because I'm going to tell you what the name of this Neoplatonism society or Platoism. Guess what it's called? It's called a Melchizedek, or the knowledge of being the son of the sun. All Neoplatonism, and guess who else was one? Apollonius or Tyana. Guess who else was one? Josephus. They was in the same Neoplatonist order of the Melchizedeks, or the sons of the sun. Who you think healed Josephus after the battle? Who was that nigga? Apollonius. Why did he do it? Because they was brothers of the same order. Why ain't Josephus tell you about Apollonius, right? He was the oracle to Vespasian. He was the oracle to Titus. This is written in history. He was there in 73 AD when Jerusalem got smashed, and when it started in 66. He is the so-called Paul who went before the Romans and got off. Not only did he get off, he became the oracle of Vespasian. So the Neoplatonist idea, or being the son of the sun, a man with no birth and no parentage and no death, is called Melchizedek. Nope. 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 Michael is not Melchizedek. Nope. Melchizedek's a man. It's a bunch of men. It's an understanding. It's a science. Any man can become Melchizedek. This is where your idea of your Jeebus even come from. Perpetual incarnation, right? Twisted with Gnosticism. This is the order that they trying to even build the whole idea of Christianity out of. Look, let's go further. Let's see what the nigga who was there at the beginning of this shit got to say. Right? And the strangest thing of all is found in the doctrine of the Trinity. Who? The doctrine of the Trinity is one of the first means to lead men astray and had its original formulation in India at least 1,600 years before the Christian era. There were documents extant in my day that were around in his day that were as positive as any historical manuscripts could be on the points herein set forth. As I said before, I refuse to join that class of men who wish to lead future generations into error by teaching the existence of a myth in form of a Judean savior. Bag, drop, night, 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 night. Oh, wait. If you're getting a little something out of this about the so-called invented story of Jeebus, if you understand that it's different from Yeshua, right? Because what did he say? As I said before, I refuse to join that class of low vibratory nigga who wish to lead future generations, me, you, your mama, grandmama, everybody. By leading them into a burning building, into error, by teaching the existence of a myth in the form of a Judean savior. Ooh-wee. Fire upon a weak heart that never had an existence, and that was but a continuation of the story of Buddha and Krishna and Pythagoras. Who you think Plato got it from? The Pythagorean theory became the Platonic theory. Same one. It was revived by a college of savants who met from different parts of the world at Alexandria to compare notes about 12 years before the Christian era. And the positive proofs, this would include Philo. At Alexandria to compare the notes about 12 years, so about 12 BC. This would definitely include Philo, since he is the first to, he introduced the Trinity doctrine into the Bible and Christian writings. It's Philo during this time, pre-AD, right? In the BC time, 12 years, right? And Philo is an Alexandrian. He was right there, right? to compare notes about the 12 years before the Christian era, and the positive proofs of this are still in existence at Rome and amongst the ruins of certain Christian churches at Ephesus. We, the ancient band who are coming through this medium, will at length through this or some other mediumistic channel give the directions for excavations at Ephesus. What? Where these documents are now. Huh? Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Documents found at Ephesus. Okay. Okay. Say archaeologists from the Austrian Academy of Sciences have uncovered the 1400-year-old ruins of the business and gastronomy district in Ephesus, an ancient city in modern-day Turkey, excavation area, blah, 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 blah. Let me see. There was also I'll show y'all this also, an ecumenical council of Ephesus, right, under Pope Celestine. Just wanted to show y'all that real quick. But I'm trying to see if they found, hold on. New church documents found in council, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see if I can find it real quick, y'all. I'm just looking. I'm just see if they found something. What? Oh. I didn't know that there was a book burning at Ephesus. Was Paul trying to hide something? Huh? Look at this. I didn't know that there was a book burning at Ephesus. Did y'all know that? Let me see. See what this say. Now, the book burning at Ephesus is an incident recorded in the Acts of the Apostles where the Christian converts at Ephesus influenced by Paul. lawless solace, to burn their books of magic. Also, many of those who were now believers came confessing and divulging their practices, and a number of those who had practiced magic arts brought their books together and burned them in sight of all, counted the value of them, and found it to be 50,000 pieces of silver. The pieces of silver could refer to the Greek drachma. This would come to a total value of approximately $6 million today. Dang. It's a lot of books. $6 million worth of books. Right? Interesting. Right? So they say we're gonna give directions for excavations at Ephesus. Now I'm gonna have to do some extra little deep digging on this, because if I find some shit, boy, I bet not find nothing. Huh? They are what you call encased. In the cornerstones of the temples, and they are intact. Look what a wasp in led us to. Huh? You don't think this thing a treasure book? You don't think I'm going? I'll be in Ephesus. My name was Lactantius. I lived in the first half of the 3rd century. Refer to McClintock and Strong's Ecclesiastical Encyclopedia for the account of Lactantius. How completely the above communication of the spirit of Lactantius accords with and explains his position towards the Christian religion, the value of that communication as light to much that is obscure in relation to the source and origin of the Christian religion cannot be overestimated. We regret that space does not admit of our commenting upon it as it deserves. Right? So we get back here. Right? Hold on. Let me back it up a little bit. Look what Jaja asking niggas, man. Y'all think I lost some power since Moses, nigga? Didn't I split? I split the Reed Sea, nigga. I did that, me. Not Moses. You dig what I'm talking about? I did that. Y'all don't even know that the Reed Sea and the Red Sea ain't even the same thing. Right? The Red Sea is where you know it is today. But the Reed Sea, aka the Ethiopic Sea, right? And why they call it reed is because the sign of Ethiopia is the reed. First place niggas was reading over there. Writing and all that shit come from Egypt and all that. Kush and Ethiopia and all come from what over there. You dig what I'm talking about? They propagated it to everybody. You dig what I'm talking about? And so when you see that reed as the sign of Ethiopia, you dig what I'm talking about? You see that the reed is a sign for Ethiopia. So the Ethiopic Sea is the Reed Sea. Well, where the hell is the Ethiopic Sea, Cosmon? The Ethiopic Sea is today known as the Atlantic. Uh-oh. It hit different. It hit different when you figure out that the Ethiopic Sea is the Red Sea, right? And that the Red Sea is today called the Atlantic. Uh-oh. But then that asks another question, Cosmonian. Oh, damn. Well, Wattsby say, where they landed at. You dig what I'm talking about? On the other side after the Red Sea was split, it's called Shekel Mareth. Where the hell is Shekel Mareth? Right? If he split the Red Sea, well, when you get into the Gullah Geechee language, one of the ancient places, names that they called where they were from, right? South Carolina, is Shekel Mareth. And when you understand that the place of the big white rock, right? Or the place where Moses stood and watched the Israelites pass in front of him, right? Is in modern day Mauritania, and it's called Casablanca. So if you split the Red Sea, which is the Atlantic, the only other place that you can land in is America. Right where he would have landed, South Carolina, Owaski called it Shekel Mareth. Crazy. The ancient Gullah people call that place Shekel Mareth. Switch up the whole story, don't it? Make shit sit a little bit different, don't it? I ain't gonna front. You dig what I'm talking about? But I wanted to get into some of the pagan background of the invention or the creation of a god in flesh, aka Jeebus. There wasn't no man pre 325 AD who did all that shit in the first century, right? His whole life was amalgamated and taken from multiple men who were and have said to be prophets or Iesu. And since they couldn't come up on a final name, they just called the man Iesu. Makes sense to generalize that lie if you're going to tell it. Because then I can tie it to anybody of any time. Remember, we're creating the physical representation of the God on earth. We making it up. Go do your work on Tulis and Thomas and Krikte and Mithra. Go do your work, your homework on the 49 false saviors, or the 49 saviors that did previous to Jeebus, who did everything Jeebus did. Everything. Died on the cross, same birthday, born from a virgin. Anything Jesus did, Son of God, died ignominiously, put on the cross, crucified. Yeah. It's 49 other niggas. You dig what I'm talking about? Who that happened to? Guess who? Guess what? Guess who else is one of those? Quetzalcoatl. Guess who else is one of those? Manito. Guess who else is one of those? Mithra. Guess who else is one of those? Thomas. Guess who else is one of those? Bali. Guess who else is one of those? Kriti. Guess who else is one of those? Christos. Guess who else is one of those? Krishna. It's a good book called The 16 Saviors Before Jesus. or 16 saviors before Christ. You dig on 16 crucified saviors before Christ. Look that book up. You dig what I'm talking about? It's 16 of them that they recognize right in there. I'm telling you, there's 49 of them. It's 49 of them that come within the 250 years previous to real Yeshua being born in 146, not Jeebles. So if Jesus if real Yeshua predate your invented birthday of Jesus, because remember, we don't see Jeebles to 325 councils of Nicaea, but they invented the story for 0 AD. But the Bible say he died in the year of he was born in the year of Herod's death, which is 4 BC. But it also says that he was born during the Roman census time, which happened at 6 and 7 AD. So that's a decade apart. So your own book don't even agree with when the birth of Jeebus even happened, right? And to find out that real Yeshua was 146 years before any of that shit. He had died 110 years before they even invented the story of Jeebus, right? Gave him his deity. You dig what I'm talking about? With Philo and the Trinity doctrine and the Logos and all that crap, right? Trying to say he was there in the beginning with God, right? 110 years before that. You know what I mean? Over 150 years before Josephus tells a story of a man named Christus, not Jesus, right? Right? Over 180 years before they backdate the so-called prophecy of Jesus and then align that with the works of Titus, making Titus y'all niggas Messiah. You dig what I'm talking about? The naked Flavy. You dig what I'm talking about? Ball swinging in your holy of holies. You dig what I'm talking about? You got to go in there and see Vespasian and Titus, gods of the hind parts. You dig what I'm talking about? They show their hind part to you. You dig what I'm talking about? So, you know what I mean? Hey, it was just a quick lesson, real quick. Your boy Cosmonian just wanted to come through, man, expound on some of these. There's no way it's too much information out there now. It's too much information for y'all not to be looking at this shit, man. It's too much now. You dig what I'm talking about? How is OWASP even doing this in 1881? OWASP telling you about stuff, about books. You dig what I'm talking about? That we didn't even know existed till after OWASP tell you. Right? We didn't even know. You dig what I'm talking about? We finding out later. You dig what I'm talking about? And listen, this is why they don't want y'all to read this shit. False gods got Hebrews and Muslims and who's and ever coming out the woodwork. Now we whoops their ass and send them on back to their God with their tail tucked between their legs. We sends them on back. But this is why they don't want you to read it, man, because it's gonna free you. When you figure out that the whole God fake, fuck what he talking about then. Right? When you figure out the whole God fake, but then Cosmon, you ain't saying God ain't real. Yeah, I ain't saying there ain't no real God. It is a real God. I'm just saying God ain't the creator. Right? God, who niggas praise, who ask for praise and all that shit, demand it, or send your ass to hell, is a spirit in the lower heavens who has a throne, right? And is believed by people in darkness to be the veritable creator of sun, moon, and stars. So if you think God is the creator, that just means you lie. Not we low. You low. You dig what I'm talking about? Any questions? Anybody got, man, or anything? Hit your boy with a super 7 in the chat real quick. Let me get a 7 in the air. You dig what I'm talking about? Thank you, everybody, for coming through, man. You dig what I'm talking about? Support the channel, sub, like, share, man. Share this stuff on your social medias, and let's get this thing cracking, bro. I would love to see somebody just debunk this shit. Go into the historical record, just like I did, and show it ain't real. Right? They got whole PhD classes on what I was just showing. You dig what I'm talking about? This is objective empirical data. Why you mad? You dig what I'm talking about? Any questions? Anybody want to come in for a hot? Well, you know what? I'm gonna get up out of here anyway. So I ain't even gonna ooh wee. Oh shit. Ooh wee. That's that shit I grew. Oh fuck. Ooh, that's that ether. Ooh, we call this one ether. You know what I mean? I got another one called vortex too. But this the ether. This shit biting. Yeah, let me see. You know, any questions? Anything? Anybody? Let me go back to the chat. This dope, yeah, we learned that. What do you say? 16 saber book, one was in the GOC. Yeah. That's real. That's real. Yeah. You dig what I'm talking about? That should have made a nigga ask some questions right there. So you trying to tell me that all these 16 saviors prior to Jesus was Jeebus too, and that this nigga is the same nigga in John 1:1 that you trying to tell me is Jeebus? Your math ain't mathing, homie. You dig what I'm talking about? That should make a nigga ask a question right there. You dig what I'm talking about? You say you got a gut feeling that the Vatican got those books, bro? I believe the spirit right. They ain't found them. Because they don't know where to look. Uh-oh. Oh, they got some of them. And they hiding them. But it's some stuff the faith has got to go get. And if you think the same thing ain't happening over here in America, huh? Wait till I get my little 1-2 step together. I'm gonna show y'all some shit. I'm in Michigan. We got a whole goddamn street called Mound. Wait till I get my dig on. Because I know where some shit is. And I got some ideas where some shit is. I think I know where the 34 ships of Gautama are buried. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Cosmonian. Just saying. I seen my OG say this the other day online. She say Owaspy is a treasure map. She right. Shout out to Susan B. Martinez. You know what I mean? Hey, man, and with that, it's your boy Cosmonium. Put the goggles back on. Dig what I'm talking about? My Aja driving goggles. You dig my Aegean driving goggles. I put them things on. You dig what I'm talking about? My Nebula boots so I can step into the muck and mire. You dig what I'm talking about? I might have to hit a nigga with a fire rod. You dig what I'm talking about? Hey, man, just understand we the ones gonna be breaking up these hell knots. Huh? What Jaja say? You gonna learn, nigga, one way or the other. You gonna learn the easy way in this life, or you gonna learn the hard way in the next life. Huh? And either way, right? All you got to do is breathe in. Let that light in. You wanna know why? I'm Cos mine, and I'm out.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh,
It's that Japheth, that Chow Mein, that Papabul, that Tao Mein, since sun south in the Arc of Wayne. My brain moving like Tao Sang, so ass above, it's so below. That up and that down thing, this flow is atmospherian. I call that a ground game. See, water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning. So how your God make a sun without vortexing current? See, the pattern is ponic, I'm reaching out for my people. Oh, watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether. And when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing political. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door stop. In the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah.
Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah.
Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahu when it's now a ennui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you making salat. Well, I'm a Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is so yeah.
Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied